Welcome, everybody, to Michigan International Speedway. My name is Josh Hall. This is Intensity Broadcasting, bringing you live flag-to-flag coverage of the SCSRA Truck Series here on iRacing. This is the Michigan 140 here, and we're looking for an exciting race here tonight. Michigan in the trucks are always an exciting race, and usually when we come to Michigan, we see 3, 4, and 5 wide racing, and I'm sure we're going to see plenty of that here tonight, as well as we see Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence out on track right now, making some practice runs. At the top of the board, Dave Wright, your fastest, with Daniel Michel not too far behind. We see the 6 of Mark Shavers and them drafting here through turns 3 and 4. Let's take a look at our points coming into tonight. Devin Bacino continues to be your points leader over Logan Hagerman, Matthew Scott, Joseph Wright, and Michael Provo, your top 5. Brian Merrill Jr. back in 6th, Dave Wright in 7th, Isaiah Gill back in 8th, Bobby Mays and Mark Shavers round out your top 10. Let's take a look at all the points to see where your favorite driver is running currently in the SCSRA Truck Series. Don't forget to check out Sim Racer Hub. That's Sim Racer Hub for all your iRacing points, stats, and series news. You can find that right at simracerhub.com. And always don't forget to check out intensitybroadcasting.com for all your merchandise needs from your favorite leagues, such as the SCSRA, the Extreme Forces Racing League, Original Rebels, Thunderstruck. You can find hats, t-shirts, mugs, stickers, mouse pads, all there at intensitybroadcasting.com. So we got about 2.5 minutes left in practice here at Michigan. Let's take a look at the race info. You can see 80 degrees out on track, the air temperature. 107 on track, making this a very, very slick track. We're going to see these trucks slip sliding all over the place tonight. And they only have 2 extra sets of tires in the pits. So they're going to have to manage their tires. From what I've been told, a fuel run is about 40 laps. So these guys are, about 30 laps. So these guys are going to have to pit at least 3 times. So we'll have to see if they're able to save a set of tires or possibly save some fuel to make it to the end on those tires. You see a little pack of cars out here. The 51 of Zachary Cox leading this group. The 95 of Michael Provolt right there as well. Daniel Michel. And the 5 of Bobby Mays in this group as well. Michigan, a nice wide track. You can see just how wide it is. These trucks can easily run 2, 3, 4, even 5 wide through the corners, and you'll see these trucks as the race goes on, just the different lines that they choose. That's a great view right there, just how wide these corners are, especially when you come down the straightaway. You can go all the way down to the grass like you see Provolt and Zachary Cox. Ooh, Zachary Cox gets turned, but you can see just how low you can get there through the front stretch. A little D-shaped oval, and just how wide this track is. You might even see some people trying to run down on the apron even through the corners. So we'll see how this race turns out. 15 cars will qualify and race here tonight, unless we get some last-minute stragglers popping in with about 30 seconds left in practice. Daniel Michel making some practice pit stops. Brian Merrill Jr. just jumped up to the top of the board, and you see what I mean by the 3 wide is Joe Wright, Devin Bacino. I believe that's Derek Chaput. Yep, Derek Chaput in the mix as well, as they're still 3 wide. Now they're 4 wide. So as I mentioned, really easy to run. Little contact there between teammates. It's going to put Brian Merrill Jr. up on his roof. Chaput involved as well, but you can see just how wide it is. You can easily fit 5, even 6 cars there if they were adventurous. But here we go, getting ready for qualifying. Let's see who the first truck is to take the Speedway. It looks like it's going to be the 95 of Michael Provolt. Devin Bacino, your points leader, also taking off of pit road. Derek Chaput has just left pit road as well. So a couple trucks trying to get out early for qualifying. This will be a 2-lap qualifier. Provolt trying to warm up those tires down the backstretch. Get all the grip he can on this slick Michigan Speedway. Provolt makes his way across the start-finish line and start his first of 2 time laps here at Michigan. Running that higher lane on the warm-up or open lap, trying to get as much speed as he can down this long back straightaway. And you'll notice just how bumpy this track is as well. Not quite as bumpy as, say, Las Vegas or Fontana, but definitely a bumpy track, as it is a pretty old racing surface here at Michigan. As Provolt's going to stay up to the high side. Now he's going to dive down to the bottom. Start his second qualifying attempt. Now he's going to run that truck all the way down to that yellow line. Trying to take the shortest way around. Straighten that truck up off the corner, down the backstretch. As he makes his way through turns 3 and 4, down below that bottom seam, trying to get as much speed out of that truck as he can. Will he take the apron here as he comes across the line? He will. That's going to move Provolt up to the 4th position. Devin Bacino, your points leader, just came across the line. He's currently sitting on the pole. Mark Shavers just crossed the line to end his first lap, moved him up to the 3rd position. See if he's able to improve on that for his second lap here. Not quite as low as Provolt was, kind of running that first seam up off the corner. Holding it wide open down the backstretch. And for the first few laps, these drivers will be able to hold these trucks wide open. But as the tires wear off, they'll have to start to lift. We see Shavers come off of turn number 4, dives down to the bottom, cross the line, and move Shavers up. So his second lap was a little bit slower, so he's going to stay in that 3rd position. It's Kyle Mays coming out on track. Let's ride along here with Kyle Mays right up on the roof. And you can hear just how little he's lifting around this 2-mile speedway. As he comes across the line to start his first of 2 laps. 184 miles an hour into turn number 1, wide open. And down the backstretch, trying to get as close to that wall down the backstretch as you can, as not to scrub off too much speed. Back down. Running that first seam. And as he comes across the line here, he'll dive right down to the apron. And move Kyle Mays up into the 5th position. Joe Wright, another driver, out on track right now. And you can just, oh, Joe does lift here. He's only going to pull 1 lap. See Dave Wright out on track as well. Dave works his way off of turn number 4 right down to the apron. And his first lap is going to be good enough for 11th currently. Let's see if he's able to improve on that on his second lap. Kyle Mays' second lap was actually, again, slower than his first. So we're seeing that a lot tonight. The second lap is quite a bit slower than the first. So these guys trying to do everything they can to get their money lap out on the first lap. D. Wright comes across the line. And his second lap is slower than his first, so he's going to stay back in the 11th position. Logan Hagerman out on track in that Red Horse machine. Coming across the line for his first lap. That's going to move him up into 12th. Let's see if he follows suit and has a slower second lap, or if he's able to move himself further ahead on his second lap. As Logan comes off of turn number 4, dives down to the apron, trying to take the shortest way around this track, right down to the grass. And Hagerman is faster on his second lap, move him up to the 7th position. Eddie Morris just coming to the stripe for his first of 2 laps. And first lap, Eddie's going to move himself up into the 5th position. And even though that bio says that he's from Tennessee, Michigan is a home track for him, as he did live in Michigan for a little while. As Eddie works his way through turns 3 and 4. And down to the stripe. And the trend continues as Eddie's second lap was slower than his first. And he's going to stay in that 5th position. And that's going to do it for qualifiers, as it looks like qualifying time is up. The only driver out there who has not set a lap yet is the 2 of Isaiah Gill. So it does look like we've got a few more minutes left. About a minute and a half if Isaiah Gill does get out there. There he is, getting ready to do his qualifying attempt possibly. Isaiah Gill rocking that fabulous Isaiah Gill paint job, very similar to the fabulous Hudson Hornet. Looks like Isaiah's going to wait till the last second to try to get that qualifying attempt underway. It doesn't look like he's going to have time to get an attempt underway. It just looks like he is sitting out on pit road, kind of teasing us with that qualifying attempt. So we have less than 30 seconds before we get ready to grid up here at Michigan International Speedway. It looks like Brian Nudie just joined the server as well. So it looks like we will have 17 trucks out here tonight at Michigan. Them old truck cars, as Joe Wright would say. As Isaiah pulls off the track and we get ready to grid up here at Michigan. And on pole tonight, The 68 of Devin Buccino with Bobby Mays coming home with a second place qualifying run. Third, we'll find the 47 of Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence with Mark Shavers in the 6 to his outside of row number 2. Row 3, you've got the 8 of Eddie Morris in the 5 of Kyle Mays. Brian Merle Jr., he'll roll off in 7th with Logan Hagerman to his outside. In 8th, Zachary Cox back in the 9th position, and rounding out your top 10, the 82 of Joe Wright. Daniel Michelle rolling off 11th with Michael Provolt in the 12th position. 13th, we'll find Dave Wright and Sylvan Seguin in the 14th position. 15th, Derek Chaput, Isaiah Gill, and Brian Nudie round out the rest of the field. As we get ready to rack them, stack them, and fire them here at Michigan International Speedway. Again, I want to take the time to thank you for joining us here tonight. Whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, we've got the chat up. Let us know who you're pulling for tonight, who you think is going to be the big winner here at Michigan. Hit that like button. Don't forget to follow and subscribe, and hit the notification as we have live iRacing 7 nights a week right here on Intensity Broadcasting, including a couple doubleheaders. We've got doubleheaders on Sundays, on Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Sunday, you've got the Original Rebels doubleheader with the Outlaw Truck Series and the Sunday Night Truck Series. Tuesday night, another truck doubleheader with the Doghouse Racing League, sponsored by Shoney's, and the SCSRA Truck Series. Wednesday, you've got the Mayhem Modifieds, followed by the SCSRA Xfinity Series. So 3 doubleheaders here on Intensity Broadcasting. Always hit that notification so you know anytime we get live, or follow us on Twitter at IntensityBroad1 for notifications anytime we have live racing here on iRacing. And it's not only our league, sometimes we have special events that we don't have time to make a mention or put up on the Facebook or on the website. So having that notification bell clicked will let you know anytime we go live. And of course, we have our website, intensitybroadcasting.com. It's our merch store where you can find t-shirts, hats, mouse pads, mugs, stickers for not just Intensity Broadcasting, but all your favorite leagues, such as the SCSRA, Extreme Forces, Original Rebels, Modified Mayhem Modifieds, and Thunderstruck. So check that out at intensitybroadcasting.com. There is a link down in the description. So here we go. We're getting ready to go green here at Michigan. Devin Buccino is going to be down on the inside with Bobby Mays to his outside. As the field works their way through turns 3 and 4. Pace car takes that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. As they approach the Geico starting zone. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing here at Michigan. And Buccino with a good start, trying to get out in front of Bobby Mays as they work their way down turn 1 and 2. Mark Shavers up on the high side. He's got Kyle Mays right behind him as they're already starting to fan out, working their way through turns 1 and 2. Buccino running that way low line, coming up the track, trying to keep as much momentum as they stack up off the corner. Logan Hagerman has to check up from running into the back of Kyle Mays. It's going to allow Cheeseburger to get down to the bottom. They're going to be 3 wide coming through turns 3 and 4. Joe Wright trying to work his way forward on the back bumper of Cheeseburger Lawrence, and Devin Buccino comes off of turn number 4, and he's going to lead the first lap here at Michigan. So already we're seeing some action, drivers using different lines. Mark Shavers kind of running that middle line. We see Cheeseburger right there on that yellow line. You see Logan Hagerman up the track as they come off of turn number 2. It looks like Brian Nudie may have missed the start. Yeah, it doesn't look like Nudie is on track, so I believe he's just running race control as Cheeseburger still working that bottom line. We see Mark Shavers now down on the bottom side, looking down underneath Kyle Mays. Kyle throwing a bit of a block here as they make their way down into turns 1 and 2. Bobby Mays now making his way to the back bumper of Devin Pacino as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. The Mays boys run a little bit higher lane than Pacino as they make their way down the backstretch. And the draft really coming into play as here comes Bobby Mays looking down to the inside. A big push from Kyle Mays as they work their way down into turn number 3. Bobby's going to take over the lead here at Michigan. Kyle has to settle for second as Devin Pacino's battling back hard on that high side. Here comes Logan Hagerman into the mix and Cheeseburger all the way down on the bottom as now Pacino's giving the big push to Bobby Mays as they make their way down the front stretch. Right along with Michael Provolt here, and you can see just off the roll bar here exactly what he sees. Big checkup out of the 55 from Kyle Mays. That's going to allow Provolt to get the big run down the backstretch. Has to lift to keep from running into the back of Logan Hagerman. Now Hagerman's going to look up to the high side as they make their way through turns 3 and 4. And Cheeseburger Lawrence not giving up that bottom lane. He's trying to get himself down there. Trying to move himself forward. There's a big wiggle on the 95 of Provolt. Able to hold on to it, though, as they make their way down towards turns 1 and 2. Big mover so far of the race. 2 of them, Michael Provolt up 7 spots, but Isaiah Gill starting caboose of the field. Currently up into the top 10, up into the 9th position, and continuing to move forward. He's got Dave Wright right behind him that's following him along as well. Here comes Kyle Mays back on the bottom side as Lawrence tries to look underneath Mark Shavers. Here comes Isaiah Gill to give a push to Cheeseburger. Oh, a little contact between Gill and Sylvan as they make their way down the front stretch. And Gill had lost all his momentum with that contact. He slides back into the 11th position. Here they keep coming. Battling side by side, Dave Wright trying to stick it in the middle there between Sylvan Segoyan and Cheeseburger Lawrence. Thinks better of it, falls in behind Cheeseburger. And going to give Cheeseburger the big push down the backstretch. Up front, we got a battle shaping up for the lead as Devin Pacino down on the bottom on that yellow line, trying to move himself back up towards the front. But Logan Hagerman now moving into the 2nd position, and Michael Provolt back in 3rd. Devin Pacino's going to have to slide back in line in the 5th position as Kyle Mays now battles back on the bottom side underneath the 95 of Michael Provolt. Mark Shavers on the high side trying to draft up to the back bumper of Michael Provolt as they come off of turn number 2. And Cheeseburger off the bottom line now. He's up on the high line trying to look to the high side of Devin Pacino. He's going to slide back in line behind Pacino as here comes Bobby Mays down to the bottom, looking underneath Logan Hagerman. Not able to get there just quite yet, but he looks like he's going to be able to get around the 95 of Michael Provolt as they come off of turn number 4. Kyle Mays now down to the bottom underneath Michael Provolt as they come across the stripe. Logan Hagerman continues to lead by 0.2 seconds over the rest of the field. Now a little bit of drafting from the Mays boys again as Bobby's getting pushed by Kyle as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. Almost a little 3-wide action there as Kyle Mays almost got... Oh, Kyle Mays gets really loose there for a second. As I'm saying that, trying to slide up in front of Shavers, not able to do it, gets real loose, and he's going to have to try to get all that momentum back that he just lost as here comes Cheeseburger back down to the low side, trying to make something work on the bottom. Shavers up on the high side. Buccino back to the 7th position as they continue to draft inside draft and move themselves forward here at Michigan. One driver I'm kind of surprised is still hanging towards the back. That's the 82 of Joe Wright. This is one of Joe's favorite racetracks. I know he has won a lot of races here in the trucks, and he's trying to move himself back to the front as Isaiah Gill slides in between Dave Wright and Joe Wright. Oh, we got Eddie Morris around on the backstretch. No caution. There's the yellow flag as Eddie's able to spin that back around and get going, and that's going to bring up our first Wreckage Rewind of the evening. as we take a look to see what happened to the 8 of Eddie Morris. And as they're coming down the backstretch, you see the 74 of Brian Merle Jr. kind of making a bit of a late move there and gets into the left rear of that 8 machine, sends him through the spin cycle down. Really no harm, no foul there as he doesn't hit anything, is able to continue on. So we'll have to see if anybody comes on pit road to try to stretch the fuel a little bit further. Again, these guys would need, on a green flag race, would have to pit 3 times. I believe they're about 4 or 5 laps short. So if they come in and pit here, don't take any tires, they might be able to make it on just 2 more stops. And with 2 sets of tires in the pits, it's an opportunity for them to have tires there, fresh tires at the end. Again, only 10 laps on these tires. I don't imagine anybody's going to be taking tires here. See, Logan Hagerman is down and away. Bobby Mays is just barely going to beat him off pit road. Whoops. As we take a look at the race off of pit road. And Bobby Mays is going to be your leader coming off of pit road, with Logan Hagerman coming off in second. Take a look at those pit stop times here that won the race off of pit road. So Mays up to first, Hagerman, Shavers, Lawrence, Cox, Chaput, Bacino, Gill, Mays, and Joe Wright, your top 10 on coming off the pits. See Michael Provo, the last truck off of pit road. I believe he had a little bit of damage that he might have to fix because he was on pit road for about 40 seconds. So a great stop from the 5 of Bobby Mays. So as we work this caution, I'm just going to pop up my wreckage rewind screen. I got to fix something on my screen here and don't want it to look ugly for you guys. Sorry about that. I just want to take care of a couple settings on my end. So Bobby Mays continues to lead. He's going to choose the inside lane here. Logan Hagerman up to the high side. Mark Shavers and Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence in row number 2. And you're going to have Derek Chaput and Devin Bacino restart in the 3rd row. So as the field makes their way through turns 3 and 4, we re-racked them, we've restacked them, we're getting ready to refire them here at Michigan International Speedway. The pace car getting ready to take that left-hand turn on the pit road. Bobby Mays leads them back down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing here at Michigan, and a great jump for Bobby Mays and another great jump for Mark Shavers as Shavers moves himself up into the 2nd position, sliding Logan Hagerman back into 3rd. As they make their way through turns 1 and 2, Derek Chaput now up into the 4th position as Hagerman's looking back down to the inside of Mark Shavers down the backstretch. But the drafting help on the high side, you see Shavers giving the big push to Bobby Mays, but here comes Hagerman down on the low line, trying to fight here for the lead. They make their way through turns 3 and 4. Here comes Devin Bacino on the bottom lane, trying to give a little bit of drafting help to the 7 of Logan Hagerman. Shaver's staying there with Bobby Mays up in the high line. Here comes Derek Chaput to help out that high lane as Hagerman is committed down to the bottom with Bacino down there as well. Here comes Kyle Mays into the mix as well. Kyle trying to move himself back up towards the front, trying to help his Uncle Bobby out. And Isaiah Gill right there into the 8th position as he's continuing the march forward. Down through turns 3 and 4, Bacino trying to give a little bit of help with Hagerman, but Hagerman pulling away. Now Bacino pulls up to the back bumper, trying to give the push down the front stretch. Bobby Mays staying up high. Schaefer's to the middle of the track. Derek Chaput up there on that high side as well. They are 3 wide down the front stretch and into turn number 1. Bacino, the meat, the sandwich between Lawrence and Hagerman. As they work their way off of turn number 2, they continue to be 3 wide. Now Isaiah Gill's going to come to the party. Now they're back to 2 wide. There's Joe Wright up on that high side. He's trying to move himself forward again. He likes this track. He knows how to run as they're coming up on the lap truck of Sylvan. We see Daniel Michelle also coming up into the mix. We haven't talked about him at all tonight. But here he's starting to come his way into the front here as Joe Wright giving the big push to Logan Hagerman down the front stretch. Up at the front, Shavers continues to follow in the tire tracks of Bobby Mays. Devin Bacino right there behind. And his teammate, Derek Chaput, in tow as they work their way off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Logan Hagerman now in line with those 4 in front as they rocket down the backstretch. And whoa, some contact. Shavers down into Bacino. Bacino down in John Deere country. Trying to woe it down to get himself back on track. He's going to. That's going to give Bobby Mays a huge lead, but that's not what you want at a track like this, as the draft will pull these trucks right back up to the 5 of Bobby Mays. Let's take a look to see exactly what happened to Bacino here. We'll see if we can get a different view. And it looks like maybe a bump draft gone wrong, kind of what we say. Yeah, he sends Shavers up to the right into the wall, and then those two make contact. They go sliding down through the grass. Bacino has to hit the brakes to keep from coming up into traffic. As we back to live pictures, Derek Chaput getting around the 55 of Kyle Mays, moving him up into the 2nd position. And you can see them slowly gaining on that 5 of Bobby Mays. And as they come down the backstretch, Bobby Mays' lead is going to continue to shrink as these trucks are going to work that draft to try to get right around the 5 of Bobby Mays. Joe Wright up into the 5th position. He continues to march forward. Right there on the back bumper of Logan Hagerman. Here comes Kyle Mays now looking down to the bottom. Seeing if he can get around Chaput here and help Bobby continue to lead here at Michigan. Hagerman and Joe Wright and Isaiah Gill look up to the high side. They're lined up there, see if they can make something work up on the high side. Much like you'd see at Daytona or Talladega, we can get a pack of trucks in line. As here comes Chaput, use a little crossover move, get down underneath Bobby Mays and try to challenge for the lead. Down the backstretch they come. Now Logan Hagerman to the back bumper of Bobby Mays. That's going to leave Chaput hung out on that bottom lane all by himself. It's probably going to shuffle that 37 back pretty far, but he's still trying to fight back on that low line underneath Logan Hagerman as they make their way down to the front stretch. We're coming across the line to start lap number 20 of 70. So just about a third of the way through the race. Already we've seen lots of excitement, a couple passes for the lead. As now Chaput's going to fall back into the 5th position around Isaiah Gill. Here comes Kyle Mays back down to the bottom. He's got a push from Daniel Michelle as they work their way into turn number 3. Kyle Mays with the big run on the bottom. He's going to continue to move forward. He's going to try, well, he thought he was going to try to get underneath Isaiah Gill, but it just wasn't going to happen. Now Chaput looking back underneath the 55 of Kyle Mays to retake the 5th position. Isaiah Gill was looking down to the bottom underneath Joe Wright, not able to make it stick. Tex back in behind. Here comes Logan Hagerman now, looking to the high side of Bobby Mays as they come off of turn number 2. And Hagerman's got the position on that high side. He's also got the drafting help from his teammate of Joe Wright as they work their way into turn number 3. Wright staying right there on the back bumper of the 7, trying to propel him forward around the 5 of Bobby Mays as they make their way off the corner. Isaiah Gill right there as well, trying to help out where he can. Michelle looking down underneath Kyle Mays to retake the 6th position. As Bobby Mays is trying to fight back on that low line. So move Logan Hagerman and Joe Wright up to 1 and 2. Here comes Isaiah Gill up into the 3rd position. Derek Chaput on that high side as they're kind of freight training the 5 of Bobby Mays right now. He's just going backwards with no drafting help at all. Isaiah Gill looking down to the inside of Joe Wright, trying to take that position away. And he's got a bit of a run here on the low side. They're 3 wide behind. Derek Chaput in the middle of Daniel Michel and Bobby Mays as they make their way into turns 1 and 2. Move Chaput up into the 5th position. Joe Wright still under attack from the 2 of Isaiah Gill as they make their way off of turn number 2 there, side by side. Ooh, Kyle Mays bounces off the wall behind him. Able to keep it going forward, though. Still haven't had a caution, which is really hurting the 68 of Devin Pacino, who was up front most of the race. Sees himself back in the 14th position as Isaiah Gill continues to try to work underneath the 82 of Joe Wright. Another big dive down into the corner for Isaiah Gill. As he works his way off of turn number 2, he's going to have to slide back in behind Joe Wright and try again as Joe's got that high lane working. That momentum off the corner. It's keeping him in front of the 2 of Isaiah Gill. Just behind, we've got Derek Chaput down on the bottom trying to get back around Bobby Mays. Daniel Michel up into the 4th position. A little further back in the pack, we've got Eddie Morris and Brian Merle Jr. going at it. These two had some issues a few laps ago that brought out the yellow when Eddie Morris went for a ride off the front bumper of Merle Jr. Now Eddie moves himself up in front of Jr. and puts himself up into the 8th position, but Jr. crosses him over on the backstretch and tries to retake that position away. Right behind him, Dave Wright is stalking in case one of them makes a mistake. He's going to try to get himself back up into the mix. At the front, Isaiah Gill continues to try to work underneath the 82 of Joe Wright, but to no avail as Joe's able to use that high lane to keep that momentum and power off the corner. Isaiah gets such a good run into the corner, but Joe on that high lane just able to continue to stay up there as we ride along with Isaiah Gill. And now he's got Daniel Michel looking down to the inside. Oh, almost some contact between those two. So move Michel up into the 3rd position. Now Isaiah's going to try to cross him over here off of turn number 4. Try to retake this position. As Isaiah dives hard down into turn number 1. Can Michel use that high side to get that good run off the corner? Isaiah tries to pinch him up to the wall, but just not able to make it work. Now down into turns 3 and 4. Is Isaiah going to be able to clear the 26 of Michel? As it looks like he is clear now. Move himself back up into the 3rd position. Now he's going to set his sights back on Joe Wright. Now he's underneath Joe, trying to do the same thing to Joe. But we've seen Joe so strong up on that high side. Plus, running this low line like Isaiah is doing, it's definitely burning off his tires. We see Joe get that strong run again up on that high side. Michelle now looking back down to the inside of Isaiah Gill. So that battle continues for the third position. Oh, Michelle gets turned off the front bumper of Isaiah Gill. Michelle goes through the grass, gets flying through the air, trying to hold on to it. He's going to spin down into pit road. Couple drivers on pit road, Michael Provolt, Cheeseburger, and Zachary Cox. There's a lot of damage to the two of Isaiah Gill as well. Right along here with Daniel Michelle. And we'll ride along on the gearbox here. You see the contact between him and Isaiah Gill, and it's absolutely airborne right there. Able to hold on to it. Surprising. Great driving there for the driver of the 26, but a wild ride as we saw him flying through the air. All four wheels off the ground as he launches and continues on. Up at the front, Logan Hagerman and Joe Wright continue to lead. We see the 55 of Kyle Mays. Kyle has come down pit road to get service done to his machine. So Kyle currently running back in the 12th position. Bobby Mays, Kyle Mays have all pit, along with Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence, Michael Provolt, and Zachary Cox. Cheeseburger, Provolt, and Cox have all lost a lap to the leaders. Kyle Mays staying right there in front of the leaders, as Logan Hagerman and Joe Wright try to stretch this fuel run as best they can. He says, love the roof cam work. A lot of top guys getting into trouble. Yeah, these guys are running hard, trying to get everything they can, and not paying off, as the risk versus reward is not paying off for these drivers. See Kyle Mays and Bobby Mays. Those dots you see back there, those are the leaders, so they are pulling away from Joe and Logan, and I think Joe and Logan might be in fuel conservation mode, if I can talk. Last time by, they both ran a 41.5, almost identical lap times, a 41.56 and a 41.55. In comparison to everybody who just pit, who are running low 40s, as Isaiah Gill now hits pit road with Daniel Michelle. I'm sure both those drivers are going to take their resets. Has a lot of damage to both vehicles. Isaiah Gill is going to come down to his pit stall. He'll be the first one to hit his stall, and there you see the reset taken. Michelle, same thing. Both trucks pop back into perfect form. As Logan Hagerman now down on the bottom. Looks like Logan's going to be pitting this time. Being the leader, he's going to be burning more fuel than Joe Wright was. So now Hagerman on pit road, giving the lead to Joe Wright as he gets passed by Provolt. So Provolt can get his lap back. Joe's going to try to tuck back in position. Trying to save as much fuel in the draft as he can and stretch this run as far as he can. Derek Chaput back 2 seconds, and, well, Joe is pulling away a little bit from Chaput. I think Chaput might also be in fuel-saving mode. As here comes Joe Wright. Looks like he's going to be pitting this time. Derek Chaput also coming down on the pit road. So that's going to give the lead to Eddie Morris, who had some trouble early in the race, but bounced back so far and leading a few laps here. Brian Merle Jr. in chase, and David Wright. And I imagine these two are going to be coming down pit road, or these three right here will be coming down pit road momentarily, leaving just Mark Shavers out there. Here comes Eddie and Junior down onto pit road. That's going to give the lead to Mark Shavers. Now, Mark also last on pit road on lap 10, so he's trying to stretch this one really as far as he can. A lot of damage to the left side of that 6 machine as well. I don't know if he was caught up in one of the early incidents, but looks like he'll be coming down onto pit road. So that's going to leave David Wright out there as the only truck not to pit yet. Dave did top off on lap 11, so he had a couple extra gallons compared to the rest of the field. Another driver with some damage to the right side. So as Dave Wright makes his way onto pit road, that's going to give the lead back to Bobby and Kyle Mays, who have a 4-second gap over the 47 of Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. As we take a look at the gap, I know it says back to right, but it is Cheeseburger Lawrence now. You see the 3rd position. And that gap is slowly shrinking. I do believe that's because we have, well, they just have 2 trucks lined up here, but they're on a little fresher tires than both Bobby and Kyle. A little further back, you've got 3 trucks lined up. Logan Hagerman, Joe Wright, Mark Shavers, who is actually a lap down currently, running back in the 15th position. And these drivers are catching Provolt and Cheeseburger, which is going to help them save a little bit of fuel to get it to the end. These guys should only have to pit one more time. You've seen a lot of speed out of the 7 and the 82 tonight, and they're showing it once more as they work their way around Lawrence and Provolt. A little further back, you've got Derek Chaput, Brian Merle Jr., and Dave Wright. As Provolt's gone off track, not sure what happened to Provolt there. Let's take a quick rewind here to see what happened to the driver of the 95. And oh, it looks like we've seen that before. A bad bump down the backstretch sends Provolt down through John Deere country. Able to hold on to it, though. Doesn't look like too much damage to the 95, so he should be able to continue on. But that's going to hurt both him and the 47 of Cheeseburger. As Logan Hagerman and Joe Wright continue to try to run down the 5 and the 55 of the Mays boys. Isaiah Gill now working around the inside of Michael Provolt, trying to take away that 7th position. Just behind Eddie Morris, running in the 6th position in that 8 machine. And Dave Wright continues to battle side by side with the 74 of Brian Merle Jr. Junior's going to make his way around Dave on that low side, slides up in front. But Dave's going to cross him over here as they head down the front stretch. As we take a look at the lap history between Kyle Mays and Logan Hagerman, and Hagerman is continuing to gain pretty quickly on these guys, almost a second lap. And I think that the Mays boys know that they're in trouble by pitting as soon as they did, and they have to save as much fuel as they can. As last time by, Bobby ran a 41.21, Kyle ran a 41.16. Both Joe and Logan ran 40.50s. And you see them coming into the picture behind. We look off the back bumper of Kyle Mays, and you can see just how quickly these two are gaining on him behind. We will have to make one more pit stop, though, so that will come into play as well. As again, the speed of those two behind as they continue to run down your leaders. Isaiah Gill working his way to the inside of Cheeseburger, trying to retake that 6th position. It's been a battle that's been going on for quite a few laps. Gill able to clear Cheeseburger this time. And now Gill's going to set his sights on the 8 of Eddie Morris. Up front, they've caught him. Here comes Logan Hagerman looking to the outside of Kyle Mays. As we get Logan Hagerman on the back bumper of Bobby Mays, here comes Hagerman and Joe Wright to the high side to take over the lead here at Michigan. And we have just 25 laps to go as they cross the line. Again, we will have one more pit stop these guys have to make. In the chat, Colin Williams says, is this a rerun? Every time I tune in, Bobby Mays is leading. Hashtag Bobby for the W. And Will Witt asks, what kind of links am I posting in here, Josh? I don't see any links posted. So now you've got me concerned. So Logan Hagerman and Joe Wright take over the lead here at Michigan. Again, we know that there is going to have to be one more pit stop. Bobby Mays, Kyle Mays continuing to slow down, trying to save as much fuel as they can to get themselves to the end of the race. Will, I just saw the links that you're talking about. Those should have been blocked a long time ago. Do not click on those, or click on them if that's the kind of thing you want to see. Big pack of cars racing back here. We see Cheeseburger continue to slide back. We've got 3 wide racing with Michael Provolt down on the bottom. Cheeseburger on the high side, and Dave Wright sneaking his way through the middle. This is a battle back here for 8th through 12th. As Daniel Michel right in front as well. Everybody seems to get back in line and try to get back in line to catch back up to the front. Junior with a big run here, though, trying to get back to the back bumper of Daniel Michel. And now the 74 looks down to the inside, trying to take that 7th position away from the 26 of Michel. Back up front, Bobby Mays and Kyle Mays have turned the burners back on. They're now running identical lap times to the two in front. So they went from running almost a second a lap slower back to full speed. So I don't know if they think they've saved enough to be on cycle with the two here, or if they think they might be able to make it down to the end. Now they're both coming down on the pit road. Along with Eddie Morris and Isaiah Gill on the pit road as well. That's going to leave Joe Wright and Logan Hagerman out on track. And these two drivers have to push as hard as they can. Try to get a little bit of a gap on these guys as they leave pit road. We have just, when next time they come by, we'll have 20 laps to go. As they work around the lap cars coming off of pit road. Now both Logan Hagerman and Joe Wright are going to come down on the pit road, surrendering the lead, making their final pit stop. Again, they're probably taking their last set of tires as well. And that's going to give the lead to Daniel Michelle, Brian Merle Jr., Dave Wright, as they're going to come by. As they work around a couple cars coming off of pit road as well. Junior looking down to the inside of Michelle, just not able to make that move just yet. I imagine these guys will probably be coming down to pit road this time, if not next time. There were a couple of the last cars to pit last time by. Looks like Michelle's going to hang down on the bottom here and hit pit road, leaving Junior and Dave Wright both out. These two drivers did pit 3 laps later than anybody else, so they're trying to stretch the fuel as far as they can. Little contact with the wall from Dave Wright there. As Brian Merle Jr. continues to lead here at Michigan. We know Merle Jr. knows how to get around this track, as he won the All-Star race here last season. Dave Wright now on the pit road. Yeah, you see the heavy damage to the right side of that machine. We know he used his reset up already, so unfortunately he will not be able to get that machine fixed up to get back out. So he will not be back to 100% when he leaves pit road. And this is a battle for what's going to be the lead here. Eddie Morris up into the battle. Joe Wright, Kyle, and Bobby Mays, as Eddie Morris fighting for the lead with Kyle Mays as they come across the stripe and into turn number 1. Mays boys up on the high side. Octagon Racing down on the bottom. And Hagerman just a little bit behind these guys. Not quite able to help out anybody, as now they've switched positions. Eddie Morris to the high side. Joe Wright going with Kyle Mays here, trying to take the lead, as they're going to be they were almost 3 wide going through the corner. Now Joe Wright up onto the back bumper. Now he's going to try to get the push from Eddie Morris as they make their way down the front stretch for 16 laps to go. Eddie Morris now looking back to the high side. He's got Bobby Mays in tow. Logan Hagerman just off the back bumper now of Bobby Mays, trying to make his way up into the mix here as well. And you've got 5 cars you can throw a blanket over, as Bobby Mays now down on the bottom getting freight trained, as Kyle Mays continues to lead this group, although Brian Merle Jr. is still your leader as he continues to stay out. Although I imagine this time by, we'll see that 74 hit pit road. As the 84 of Dave Wright goes by. No, Junior's going to try to stretch it another lap. Back to this battle. Eddie Morris down on the low side underneath Kyle Mays. Joe Wright, though, giving the big push to Kyle Mays as they work their way down turn 3 and 4. Now Eddie down to the bottom all by himself. He's going to get a little bit of a draft here as he tucks in line behind Logan Hagerman. Joe Wright to the outside, trying to take that position away from Kyle Mays. And Brian Merle Jr. now slowing down to hit pit road. So Jr.'s going to give up the lead and give the lead. Oh, Kyle Mays really loose off of the corner, moving him up into the third position. That's going to give Joe Wright the lead with Logan Hagerman right behind him. I don't know if there's a little bit of contact possibly between Joe and Kyle, but Kyle slides back into that third position. Eddie Morris and Bobby Mays back in 4th and 5th. As we ride along with Eddie Morris, has a great view of this battle in front of him. Kyle Mays gets loose again off of turn number 2, and down the backstretch. Eddie doing everything he can to catch back up and try to battle here for the lead as we see one truck hitting pit road. That's the 66 of Sylvan. And we have just 12 laps to go here at Michigan. Now Eddie Morris looking down underneath Kyle Mays as they come off of turn number 2. Not able to get there. He's going to tuck back in line. Try to draft back up to the back bumper of the 55. He's got the 5 of Bobby Mays right there on the back bumper. As now Eddie's going to look back down to the bottom to the yellow line through turns 3 and 4. And try to get the drive off of the corner to get around the 55 of Kyle Mays. Bobby Mays hanging back there. Eddie's going to have to slide back in behind Kyle with just 11 laps to go. See the lap truck of Sylvan Sigourney coming off pit road. As Eddie gets the big push here from Bobby Mays. Joe Wright continues to lead over the 7 of Logan Hagerman as we cross the line. This time we have just 10 laps to go here at Michigan. Can these 3 trucks behind work together to try to get up there to challenge for the lead, or are they going to continue to try to race each other? Eddie Morris falls back off the back bumper of Kyle Mays quite a bit. Kyle trying to get something to happen. Oh, they're loose. All 3 of them get loose off the corner. Move Kyle Mays up into the 2nd position. That was the weirdest thing I ever seen. Everybody got loose off the corner at the same time. And that's going to move Eddie Morris up into the 3rd position. And Joe Wright falls all the way back to 5th. Don't know if there's any damage to the right side of that truck. We'll take a look as he comes by. No, that side looks clean. So see if Joe can draft himself back up to the front as Logan Hagerman's coming up onto the lap truck of Zachary Cox. As now Kyle Mays trying to get around the 7 of Logan Hagerman. We'll see if the lap truck ends up being an issue here. Nope, they're going to stay up to the high side, and Cox stays way down out of the way. Logan Hagerman now has Kyle Mays. A little bit of breathing room between the two of them. That's not what you want to see at a track like Michigan, where the draft is so substantial. Plays a big part of the race, as you see Eddie Morris and Joe Wright nose to tail like you see on a super speedway. They're pushing each other down the front stretch. We have 7 laps to go here. Can these two get back up to the front? Working around the lap truck of Sylvan. Sylvan stays down on the bottom, trying to stay out of the way. Eddie Morris again getting the big shove from Joe Wright down the backstretch. Here comes Bobby Mays. See if he can help get these guys up to the front as well. Oh, Joe Wright up into the wall. Joe having some issues. And I think this time he's got some damage as Eddie Morris now slides up into the 3rd position. And he's going to set his sights on Kyle Mays with just 6 laps to go. Is there enough time for him to get up there? He's got the 66 of Sylvan Seguin on fresh tires. Maybe Sylvan will be able to help him draft up there to Kyle Mays. Here goes Bobby Mays up off the corner as well, trying to give a little push to the 8 down the backstretch. And when we cross the line next time by, we'll have just 5 laps to go. Kyle Mays actually falling back a little bit from Logan Hagerman as Sylvan Seguin looks down to the inside. Lap truck trying to get his lap back. But that's going to allow Kyle Mays to catch a little draft here and get pulled up to the 7 of Logan Hagerman as they make their way towards turns 1 and 2. Eddie Morris, Bobby Mays side by side for 3rd. Eddie trying to roll that high side where you can keep such momentum up off the corner. As they continue to race side by side, Bobby's going to have to tuck in behind the 8 of Eddie and keeps Eddie up into the 3rd position. Now Kyle Mays starting to get a little bit of a draft off the 7 of Logan Hagerman. He's starting to move himself forward. Last time by, Kyle was about 0.2 quicker on that lap. Is there enough time for Kyle to get back to the back bumper of Logan Hagerman? Eddie Morris and Bobby Mays continue to draft with each other down the backstretch, trying to catch back up to the front here, see if they can challenge for the lead. But I don't know if there'll be enough time as Logan Hagerman's making his way through turns 3 and 4. He's got a little draft from the 66 of Seguin as they come off of turn number 4. We're going to have just 3 laps to go here at Michigan. Last thing that Logan Hagerman wants to see right now is a caution flag, as he still has the 55 of Kyle Mays in the back bumper, but Kyle's starting to put the heat on. Last time by, Kyle ran another fast lap, faster than Hagerman. He's starting to catch him down, as the lead is now just half a second. As they come by the stripe this time, popsicle sticks are in the air, just 2 laps to go. Kyle May is still a half second back from Logan Hagerman. Does he have anything left in the tank for the 7 machine as they make their way through turns 1 and 2? Hagerman running that higher lane, trying to keep that momentum up off the corner. Kyle May is running the low line, trying to take the shortest way around the track. Although I don't think the tires are going to hold off, as Colin Willem says, Grandma Hagerman on her feet. As Logan Hagerman makes his way off of turn number 4. He's going to take the white flag. Just 1 lap to go here at Michigan. Kyle Mays starting to fall back even further. Doesn't look like he's going to have anything for Logan Hagerman. Hagerman's got cruise control. He's just got to make 4 good corners. Gets off of turn number 2, comes down the backstretch. And as Hagerman makes his way through turns 3 and 4, he's going to cut it down to the bottom, and Logan Hagerman is going to win here at Michigan. Kyle Mays is going to come home second. Eddie Morse battling back for third. Bobby Mays comes home fourth. And Joe Wright comes home in the 5th position. But it's all about our race winner tonight, the 7 of Logan Hagerman. Running a little different colors than we've seen him run the last couple weeks, and it pays off with some good luck in that Red Horse machine. He's going to come down to the front stretch and burn him down and celebrate his win. He might have run out of gas. Oh, no, there he goes. Refires it. As Kingston, Ontario celebrates, we know Grandma Hagerman is celebrating. Logan gets the win here at Michigan. What a burnout, too, right there on the Michigan.com. Let's see if he drives it down the victory lane. Oh, no, he popped the motor. He's not going to be able to get that down the victory lane. Let's take a look at our results here. Logan Hagerman, again, is your winner. Kyle Mays comes home second. Eddie Morrison third. Joe Wright and Bobby Mays and Joe Wright round up your top 5. Isaiah Gill, Daniel Michelle, Brian Merrill Jr., Michael Provolt, and Dave Wright, your top 10. Then Cheeseburger Lawrence comes home 11th. David Chaput in 12. Devin Bacino, Mark Shavers, Zachary Cox, and Sylvan Seguin round out your field here at Michigan. As we get ready to talk to our 3rd place finisher, let's pull in Eddie Morse. Eddie, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, how's it going, brother?
Man, wild race there, especially towards the end. Looks like you and Joe were working well together. And at one point, it looked like everybody got loose together coming off of turn number 2. And that was kind of wild, but you were able to hold on to it as Joe hit the wall and fell back a little bit. But you were able to hang on, have a great battle with Bobby there to take home 3rd place. What was the secret tonight? What was the secret to success to get up to the front, especially after getting turned around at the beginning of the race?
To be honest with you, man, I have no idea. I was just the right place at the right time, I guess. They got into the wall and the waters parted, and as Junior says, I shot the gap, and it was pretty much smooth sailing from there. I think Joe would have had something if he would have been able to keep it off the wall there. I don't know if me pushing had anything to do with that. If it did, I apologize. But man, there towards the end, I knew if I held that top line, Bobby wouldn't have a chance to get around me. And I seen him pop down coming to the start finish line. And I'm like, man, he's got a heck of a run. And I thought about blocking him, but I figured after everything I went through, if worst case scenario, 4th place, then I'd take it. So, but we were lucky enough to beat him there to the line, and shout out to him for making that exciting. And man, what a race!
Speaking of excitement and Brian Merrill Jr., you went off the front bumper of the 74 early in the race. Was that just a bump draft gone wrong, or Do you know? Did you take a look back? Get a chance to take a look back and see what happened, or what happened there?
Uh, no, Josh, man, I didn't get a chance to go back and look at it yet, man. I had to hop off the phone because I'm experiencing some audio issues, and I didn't want anybody to hear me up here crack a lacking, and so now I jumped on my phone here, and I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I'm sure it's just net code or something.
For sure. Well, again, congratulations on the third place finish tonight. Before we let you go, anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs you got to give here tonight?
Man, just Intensity Broadcasting, best broadcasters in the business. Morris Customs, Coctagon Camping, my guys that hang out in the Intensity uh, channel with us as we race. Shout out to those guys. We had a really good run tonight all together. So that's about it, man. Everybody that lets me do this, appreciate it. So
For sure. Well, again, congrats on the podium here tonight. And how do you like your chances? Are you racing tomorrow, Mid Ohio, in the Xfinity Series?
this boy don't turn right. No, I might catch that on Intensity Broadcasting there. I had to pop in and make a couple comments and then boot scoot and boogie down the road. But no, I won't be there tomorrow. So good luck to everybody that will be though.
For sure. Well, again, congrats on the podium. And I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, brother.
As your third place finisher, Eddie Morris. Let's talk to your runner up finisher, Kyle Mays. Kyle, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, great run tonight. You and Bobby were working so well together. That first 3/4 of the race, really. Looked like you had a little different strategy than everybody else there. Was that what you guys were trying to do? Just be off strategy there, try to steal something there at the end?
Yeah, we thought if we pitted right there, we knew we could run about 22 laps on fuel. We thought if we pitted right then, we could maximize the tire wear out right there. But I think we pitted about 2 laps too soon. We should have waited. If we'd have pitted 2 more laps, we might have been a little better. But Hagerman did a good job. He was really good on the top.
Yeah, he was able to roll that top better than pretty much anybody else there tonight. I got to go back about 10 laps from the end. It looked like everybody got really loose off of turn number 2. I saw you get really loose. I think Hagerman and Joe also. Did something happen between everybody there, or was it just a little bit of a glitch, or did you guys experience that as well?
I could see Logan was catching Joe, and when he got underneath him, I don't know if Joe got loose and got in the wall, but I could actually hear Joe hit the wall when I was beside him, so I just jerked it dead left, hoping that he wasn't going to hit me in the door. I don't know how I missed that, but that's what happened there. I actually heard it.
That was wild from our point of view. It just looked like, from my view, it looked like everybody got loose at the same time, but contact with the wall would make a lot of sense too. So, again, good driving awareness. Congrats for the second place finish. Before we let you go, any shout outs you got to give? Anyone you want to thank?
I'd like to thank you guys for putting this on. It's always fun to go back and watch it the next day. And just appreciate Dad and Mark and Todd. He wasn't with us tonight. So, but I'd like to thank them also.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the second place finish. I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it.
So let's bring in your man of the hour, your winner tonight, Logan Hagerman. Logan, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Josh.
Man, a little different paint job here tonight. Get you a little different result, getting you the win here. Great race overall. You and Joe kind of had that high line hooked up for a while until he hit the wall. And the strategy seemed to be on key. I saw you and Joe kind of slow down and save fuel a little bit for a little while. Was that kind of what you guys were doing? Saving a little bit of fuel, or did you think you had another yellow coming out there?
No, I wasn't saving fuel at all. I was full out the whole time.
Well, awesome job coming down to the end. And, working with your teammates, the draft seemed to be a really important factor here tonight to keep the pace going. Was that as important as it looked like on the screen here tonight?
Yeah, the teammates played a big role tonight. Joe and I were hooked up basically the whole race, working well together. And we were just able to run that high line better than everybody else. And I just felt like we were faster than the Maze boys running up there. I felt bad for Joe when he got up in the wall. I don't know if it's because I got him arrow loose or not when I got close to him. I feel bad about it. But all in all, intensity, we finished first, third, and fifth. So it was a great run for us, and draft was a huge factor tonight.
Yeah, for sure. It looked like at one point everybody got loose off of turn number 2. And talking to Kyle there, he was actually just commending you for how well you guys were able to run that high side. So congratulations to you on the win here tonight. And before we let you go, anybody you want to thank, any shout outs you got to give here?
Yeah, I got to thank you up in the booth for the good job that you do. I got to thank Joe Wright for helping me out in this race. I got to thank Grandma Hagerman for all her supports, and just all the Logerman fans out there.
Yeah, you got a few people cheering you on here tonight. And again, congrats on the win. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon as the season rolls on.
Alrighty, thanks.
So there you have it. Your winner tonight, Logan Hagerman, getting the win here at Michigan. A fantastic and exciting race right down to the end. And we're glad that you were here to join us on Intensity Broadcasting. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night as we've got the Mayhem Modifieds going off before the SCSRA Xfinity Series. The Xfinity Series will be taking on Mid-Ohio tomorrow. So if you like cars that turn left and right, be sure to tune into that. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, and Twitch. It really does help us out. Check out IntensityBroadcasting.com for all your Intensity and League Racing merch. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.